Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I am going to be running the new and improved Overland course. I made some changes to it last week, and it took so long to make those changes that I went ahead and just kind of like cut the cameras for the day and just got the rest of the work done, which would have given you guys a really disjointed video, so I decided not to produce that video. But anyways, I am okay. The changes that I made were made because over the 6-week period that I was doing the heavy equipment operators course that I've already told you guys about, I packed on like roughly 9 pounds, which really took me off. And you know, you can tell when you look here. And I just, I did my best to exercise, and it was difficult because what my daily schedule looked like was get out of bed early in the morning, have breakfast, grab my books, drive into Chattanooga State. Hang on. Apparently the spiders are out again. Drive into Chattanooga State for class, and that was 5 days a week. And gotcha. And then I'd get out of class and I'd go home and I'd start making slings. And my options were either get out of bed earlier than normal, and I was already getting out of bed at like 6 something, right? So my options were get out of bed earlier and try to work out. But here's the problem, because I'd go to school 8 to 5, I think it was, and then I'd go home and I'd make slings, and then I would edit video, I would answer comments, I would answer emails, and I'd get to bed somewhere around 10:30. So I could either work out late or I could work out early. And what I found was, it sucks, but I'm not going to have time to get... Now guys, I made it a point to go for walks every day, about a 30 or 40 minute walk, a brisk walk. But I like to work out, and I couldn't get my workout in, so I started gaining weight. And I kept saying to my wife, I'm getting fat! And she'd go, honey, you're not getting fat because you're wearing the same pants you always wear. So anyways, I know I packed on a little bit of weight because I got on the scale and I verified it. So I decided I would take the Overland course and I would expand it so that I could turn this into about a 45-minute speed walk. But I also wanted to tie in the cardio with the shooting, because when your heart rate is up, it makes your shooting that much more difficult. So anyways, last week I came out here, took some targets that were here, some targets that were there, some targets that were over there, and I just sort of pushed everything even further in that direction. So basically the 300-yard target that's way out there, that used to be the last shot. Well, now you actually hike up that hill and go past him and actually go and hike into that section of woods off to the right. And I've got probably another 5 targets up there. So I'm going to put my junk on, and I think I'm just going to run with my pistol here and probably my chest rig. While I was doing this, I was moving a lot of steel targets around, and some of them are pretty heavy. And I did something to my shoulder, and it's hurting pretty bad right here. And when I reach forward, I feel a bit of a popping there, and it's happened before. I used to be a cop, and just I have injuries from law enforcement that are kind of catching up with me at 50, so I have to be careful with what I do. And I try not to do dumb things anymore. When I was younger, I did really dumb things because that's just part of being young. But now I try not to do stupid things. So I have to be careful what I'm doing out here, but I also need to get exercise, otherwise that ain't coming off. And I gotta get it back off. I normally would have this on, but this is not something that is normally with me, because this is not something that is part of my get home setup. And my mindset with my setup is a get home setup. And so And so with that in mind, like this shirt, I've always got one of these shirts in my vehicle. When I do this drill, I actually will tend to put on my EDC bag, my chest rig, which is here. This rifle bag is always with me, and my chest rig sits here. And I'll show all this to you guys in just a moment. But when I do this, I tend to put on my my EDC bag. But like I said, with my shoulder injury, I'm gonna opt to leave that out for today. Okay, ammunition. I try to stay within the confines of 230 rounders, and these are the Lancer Warfighter. Someone asked me recently on one of my videos when they saw me running these, they said, did you switch over from the PMags? I said, no. I've always liked these. I was actually an early adopter. Before these were even popular, I was already on these. The only reason that you guys have seen me running PMags for years is because they're OD green. And these OD green ones are a match to the majority of the weapons that I have, but the weapon that I've been kind of tooling around with is Flat Dark Earth, Coyote. So I decided to go to the Lancer Warfighters, and I've always liked these, man. These are great mags. The originals actually tended to have a cracking issue if you had deep woods off with DEET on your hands. The DEET, wherever you contacted the mag, would actually cause it to crack. By the way, guys, same with the original. Oh, here it is. This is an original PMag here. This is the Gen 2. And you'll notice how this one, how the windows got cracks in it. And this was that original polymer that just didn't do very well when it was exposed to DEET. So this is the original. This is Gen 2. And what's really cool is this mag is still in perfectly functional condition. It's tagged T1C, Tier 1 Citizen, with a star on it, because this mag and 3 of these are also relegated to training mags. And in these mags, yeah, this is one of them. See right here? See how it's cracked? And they get cracked because they were always getting dropped on concrete. And you know, you do a reload and the mag would hit the gravel. So I was always dropping these mags on the ground, and it amazes me how many years these have been dropped on the ground. And I mean, they have been abused endlessly, and they still work perfectly fine. And the feed lips are cracked, and I just keep running them because I figure, look, I'm curious, what will a PMag take before it fails? Still hasn't failed. So when people say, hey, you need to do, and they start telling me all these things that I need to do, I'm like, okay, thank you, because I know better, because I've tested things well past what one would consider failure points, and they're still working. So at present, I'm working off of Lancers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these, and they're going to go in the chest rig here. The third one will be left alone, and then one will go into the rifle. I'm going to load this up. But anyways, my everyday Glock will be in my everyday holster from my friend Phillip, who makes the absolute best holsters ever. Old school Kydex bending, riveted, no adjustments, a level of retention. I mean, guys, this stuff is beautiful. Really, really smooth angles everywhere you look. But unfortunately, Phillip is a full-time and then some electrician. And when I say unfortunately, meaning that he just doesn't have time to make holsters anymore. This is actually the Tier 1 Citizen concealment holster. Okay, there it is right there. And I said to Phillip, I want you to make my holsters. But I know that for you to make holsters for me is a lot of time, because he's not just spitting these out. These take time. And because he's an electrician, he's like me. He's burning that candle at both ends. And he just doesn't have the time to take it on. And he says, look, I'll do it if you need it. And I said, yeah, but you know what? Because I'm your friend, I'm not going to ask you to do that, because you just don't have that kind of time in your life. So I miss you, Phillip. We haven't trained together in a while because he's so busy. He's getting his business fully off the ground. Ascend Electrical Solutions. And Phillip's a good guy. Alright, I'm going to get some training. You guys are coming along. Alright, here's the deal, Pickle. Okay, so chest rig. Let me get this out of the way to show that to you. This is my rifle bag. This is a discreet carry case, I believe, from Black Hawk. I have an 11.3 broken down in this bag. This is actually an MP5 bag. And you can also fit a 7.5 AR-15 in here, end-to-end, fully assembled, no modifications. Love this bag. I've had this bag for well over a decade. I have flown with it. I've gone in and out of hotels with it. No one ever gives me a second look. And yet in this bag, there's always a fire. And the front portion is a chest rig. Comes up and immediately goes on. This is the First Spear Seeker, S-I-C-E-R, short incursion chest rig. First Spear Seeker 612. And the strap goes around your chest. It normally has a G-hook. And what I've done is I've retrofitted it with the little clasps that I use on my single point slings. 1-2-3 rifle, 2 pistol, light, needle decompression. Yes, I'm trained on needle decompression. Tourniquet. Yes, I'm trained on it. Extra light, extra batteries. There's an inside pocket for like maps and stuff. And I keep medical gloves and packing material in here for packing wounds. And I've got a Sharpie marker. Whenever you put a tourniquet on someone, you want to write TQ and put the time that you put the TQ on. And the reason you do it here is because EMTs, paramedics, first responders are always going to look at the face of the person that they're treating. So when they see TQ and a time, they're going to go looking for it. If all you have is enough time to write TQ and a time, tourniquets aren't tiny. They're going to find it. It's going to be on a limb. In fact, you can, I know this is kind of ew, but we've been trained to even write TQ, or just write TQ in blood on the person's forehead and move on to the next person you're rendering aid to. So that's why this rig is what it is. It's very simple, very slick down. I'm not into a lot of fluff in my life, guys. These are fighting mags. They're an identical copy of these mags, but they're loaded with M193 with the red rims on the primers. This is Brazilian M193, which has proven itself to be perfectly reliable. But this is PRV M193. This is what my rifle is zeroed to. This is what you guys have seen me banging stuff out to 400 yards with. So this gets set aside until I'm done. The rifle is in this portion of the bag, and you can see it's broken down. The lower, that's a fighting mag too. The lower comes out. The 2-point sling is actually hooked into the QD at the back of the lower receiver. The upper is strapped in, comes up and out. The RMR cover just fell right off. Takedown pins come out, upper to lower. Takedown pins go in, lock it to the rear to make sure it's empty. Grab the sling, bring it around. Someone's going to say, what kind of lower is that? Guys, the lower is irrelevant. The lower is irrelevant, the upper is irrelevant. If you're choosing quality parts, if you're choosing quality parts for your guns, then the name on the part is completely irrelevant. And then put it in storage position, and now I'm ready to go. Well, I have to load this up, and then I'll be ready to go. So we're imagining that I got to get home, which is what this gun is about. I chose to build a gun that, as you see it, it is in the 6-pound range. Guys, that includes sling, obviously not ammo. So as you see this gun, with backup sights, optic mount, sling, the whole 9 yards, it is roughly in the 6-pound range. This gun is such a pleasure to work with. It is so lightweight. Oh, it even has an adjustable gas block. It's a superlative arms, the barrel ballistic advantage. So I've got it dialed in, and it runs M193 so smoothly and so consistently that it just knocks my socks off. Of the many reasons that I like the Lancer Warfighters, one of them is that as I'm loading, I'm looking directly into it, and that right there, once I reach 30, I can look through the mag and I can see that that's exactly 30 rounds right there. Even Lancer gets it wrong. They call these translucent. Translucent, by its very definition, means light passing, translucent. But this is transparent because you can see your rounds in here. That's why I like these so much. I can visually see how many rounds I've got. Someone's gonna say, well, yo, the enemy can see it too. Dude, if the enemy's that close to you, I'm going to show you guys a quick little trick. You can take your water bottle, if you so choose. Take your water bottle and hook it into the strap of your chest rig. You can either have it hanging on the side or you can just slide it around to the back. It doesn't really create that much of a problem on balance because the weight is very low on your body. If your weapon has to go to storage, it doesn't really get in the way because the way I make my slings, there's enough stretch in there that if you bind up on something, you can kind of shove and sort of get around it to get to your weapon. So it's not so much of a hang-up issue. No doubt someone's going to ask, why not a camelback? Well, I like camelbacks. I've had some issues with the modern day camelbacks. The wide mouth, which is great for cleaning because then you can get in there, you can like get your hand in there and clean and dry. The problem with the collars on those, they don't lock worth a darn. And when you've got your bag on, I found the hard way in my vehicle that my camelback, which is a very expensive camelback, and it's like literally a camelback brand paired up with the Black Hawk Mule backpack. And it is a dynamite setup. Well, I had that setup moved over into an EDC bag, and I was out here running the course with it. And just in wearing the bag, with all the medical and food and water and blah 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 that I had in the bag, because I actually trained with my stuff. When I finished the Overland course and got back down to the vehicle, I found that just the pressure of the items in the bag pressing against the water bladder had just barfed. The seals had given way enough because of the flexing and had barfed water on everything. Now, by the grace of God, nothing was ruined because it was exposed to water for a very brief period of time, so I was able to get everything air dried and, you know, no problem. But I said, that's out, that's done. So I'm back to the camelback shoot bottle that I use just every day. It's always with me. And I just hook it into the chest rig, or when I have my backpack, it actually goes into the bag right there. But like I said, I've got a shoulder injury that I'm trying to take it easy on right now. So yakety yakety yak, let's go. For those who are wondering, for me to do that shot at 300 with a 3.25 MOA RMR, the dot is roughly, I don't know, it's about, hang on. Yeah, okay, so the dot is quite literally that big. So we're talking small beach ball size at 300 yards, 3.25 MOA. It's a fairly big dot, and I didn't turn it down, so I've got a little bit of blooming on this one because it's reacting. It's an auto mode and it's reacting to sunlight right now. And so, yeah, it self-adjusts. So to do that shot from here, I'm having to put the red dot where his head would be and pull the trigger. It's a shot that I've done many times, so I know what a human being looks like at 300 yards. That's an average size. That's an average-sized human being at 300 yards. It's an equation that I've gotten really good at. People ask me, I'll cover this and then I'll get moving. People ask me, why don't you like what is it called? Low LPVOs, low power variable optics. The reason I don't like an LPVO is to get into the really lightweight LPVOs, you have to start spending like $1,800 to $2,000+ for like the Night Force and things like that. And I don't have that kind of money. I'm a regular guy like you guys. So what I choose is, I choose the RMR on a Scalar Works mount. I choose BCM sights as my backups, because without this, you guys have seen me do this already. So without an optic, I know I'm good enough with just the sights alone to get the job done. I find myself in a bit of a quandary with this weapon, and it wasn't until I went out to a scout marksmanship class with Personal Survival Solutions that I finally really felt confident enough to call this a get-home gun. Because at that class we were asked to do 400-yard shots under pressure, under time. So got it done with this. So now I've got no problem calling this a get-home gun. But anyways, let's get moving. I'm leaving this camera behind so that I can move light and fast. Let's go. Totally forgot. I've got to do these. Knew that was going to happen. There it is. Ah, hit the hostage. Handgun skills, handgun skills. They are a booger. See that? I don't know what kind of animal scat that is, but we got lots of critters out here, which is why I've always got firearms on me. Even if I'm not filming any videos, I've always got guns on me because we got so many critters out here. I gotta put that one on springs because he doesn't ring. That's the one I was just shooting at. Let's trade out. That one goes in the back pocket. Keep moving. Like I said, guys, this particular one is gonna be far quicker than most. I set up this new expanded course purely, guys. I needed somewhere to do what I call the ballistic hike. I needed somewhere to get a workout and get some trigger time. Nope. There we go. Leave them. I want to pick the casings up, but I got to keep moving. You guys know me. I like taking my casings with me. Move that guy. Ooh, the gun's getting hot already. Just that little bit of shooting. Okay, store the weapon, get out the water. When you're doing this, you can leave your strap attached to your water. And then grab the strap and bring it back around. If I've never mentioned this before, whenever you're taking your rifle and you're moving it around, you want to be cognizant of that not getting flipped off, because it will happen. If you've got, it's more prevalent when you've got gear around your waist. You swing your gun around and the safety will get swept off by something, so just be aware of that. See, look, now you guys are understanding. This is a serious hill. Okay, this hill is no joke. Clearly I need to paint that again. Those are such great targets. As you guys know, typically the Overland course ends right down there. From there, it's roughly a 150-yard shot to this guy, and then it's over, and then you head back. Now it's all the way up. You get up here, and as soon as you crest this hill, bad guy right there. Get a little closer. That's an ABC zone target. This is also a reminder that in I go right here. Handgun shots were decent. Rifle shots were a little bit high. All right, in we go. Brand new territory for you guys. And with all honesty, and I mean this with all honesty, I believe there are 4 out here, and I forget exactly where those 4 are. So we're gonna find them together. I know that I restricted myself to high terrain, so I said, I gotta stay up top, I'm not going down, so I think it's this way. Unlike the other area that has an established terrain, established track, this one does not. Ah, there's one. I don't know if he's seen me yet, so we'll see. Crap, I lost him already. There we go. Here's a little technique. Jam your sling into the tree. Oh, there's a tree in the way. There's a sapling in the way. Nope. Gonna have to go out this way. There we go. Good. Ding, ding. Edge hit, center hit. I love this bit because I don't even remember where they are. The ABC zone targets are really hard to hit because they're so narrow. So counting the one at the road, that's 3. I want to say there should be a total of 5 up here, including the one on the road. 4. That's a bit of a long shot. We'll try it. Hit. Hit. Can't even begin to tell you how much it galls me to leave that brass on the ground. I gotta keep moving. Basically with this, it was work all the way to the fence line. So it's well past this guy. And like you've heard me say, there's no set trail here. There's no track to follow. And it's cold enough now that I don't have to worry about snakes or ticks. Good hits. So, 1, 2, 3. I think that's number 5 there. Let's get closer. Hit. You know what? Let's try handgun from here. Handgun's a booger. Mag out. Mag in. Store mag. See closed, let it hang. The fence line is over there. Yeah, that's number 5. All right, and that's the property edge. All right, heading back. Here's how you do this heading back. You go a ways without looking over your shoulder. I can still feel that my heart rate is up, so I want to keep moving. So I go a ways. There are a lot of rocks out here that are about baseball and softball size that'll roll your ankle, so you got to be really careful. You turn, you face, and you try to find your target. Oh, didn't even see that one. That's bad. Look at that. I would have been screwed had that been a person. I was target fixating on that, and I walked right past that guy. Why do you think I like shooting in the woods so much, guys? And just like before, downhill terrain means that I automatically correct to the right, so that it's impossible to get lost out here, because everything is within this like 60 yard wide corridor, but it gives me 60 yards by about 300 yards to work with. Oh crap, are you kidding me? And no, actually, let me stop real quick. Let me stop. Okay, do you want to be dropping mags in this? Because remember, in a survival situation, that's very valuable, isn't it? Which is why you guys have heard me say, even to lock back, trade out and store. I know that flies in the face of what a lot of other people teach, but you know what? I don't want to be searching. I don't want to have to be scrambling for ammo and scrambling for mags. Okay. Do I see anybody else? Well, I can already tell you, I like the shoes, but I got to tighten that one down a little bit more, because that toe and that toe are touching. These are ultras, which is why the toe box is so wide. And you need a wide toe box, because every time that the foot hits the ground, your toes want to do this for balance. So that wide toe box allows it. But right now I'm hitting right there. So I got to tighten this up just a little bit. Man, this would be a nightmare in darkness. But you know what? I think I'll do it in darkness as well for you guys. Obviously not today. We haven't quite gotten there just yet. We're getting there in a hurry though. The other reason I do this type of stuff is I like to test the slings that I make for you guys. I'm constantly asking a lot of these slings. I'm constantly pulling on them, and you know, when you're out here doing this kind of thing, the sling gets hung up on different things, gets yanked around. I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys the best product possible. I want to show you guys something. Steel plate, 3/8 AR500 Burnell right here in front of me, watch. Those are glancing blows. And if you look at this, you see the smear marks? How the bullet entered at an angle? You can literally see the shape of the bullet there and there. And then they just ended up about right there somewhere. Totally harmless. Dumps all its energy. Man, that was cool. I bet some of you are thinking, I've never seen that water bottle on the chest strap. On the chest strap trick. Yeah. Just don't put it on your rifle thing, because when you try to shoot, the water sloshing would cause this effect. And it will throw a shot. And now, hike back. And if you're a real glutton for punishment, you do this twice. Or you go all the way down 600 or 700 yards, or basically from the target there to the truck is 300. You go another 400 yards down, another 200 yards in, start on that target, actually 300 yards in, start on that target, and hike your way back. That's a workout and a half. Oh man, that was fun. That's the Overland Course 2.0. Varied terrain. It's good for you. The older we get, the more we... hang on, let me use a negative here. The older we get, the older we get, the more we lose twitch muscles. I'm not sure if it's loss of twitch muscle or twitch muscle control due to muscle fiber atrophy. I don't know. Anyways, twitch muscles are those small strands of muscle fiber that essentially cause explosive movement for the bigger muscles. Think of it as a pony motor to fire up a Caterpillar dozer. So your pony motor gets going and it kicks over your big Caterpillar power plant for a bulldozer, right? That's kind of what a twitch muscle is. Overlanding, trail running rather, because overlanding is more about vehicle. Trail running, trail hiking, or as I call this, the ballistic hike, helps maintain those parts of your body that are just not being used that often enough. That's why I get out here and I do this. Ooh, look, casings. No, leave them, leave them. Move, move, move. I'm like, ooh, look, shiny things. Because actually the last part of this drill is all the way back to position 1. And that's at least 2 hits at 300 from the prone. Like several of you have said, it's cool to listen to the bullet traveling in, and you can hear that as it flies in, as it hits. And now that you guys have hiked this with me, now you understand how truly far away that is. So I get back, go over here, 300. All right, where's my wind? Looks like left to right. Love it. All right, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Even at current ammo prices, that was still fun. All right, let's see how much ammo I used up. I'm sorry, let's see how much ammo I invested. All right, let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10, 20, 40. So it looks like I invested 50 rounds in this course today. Not bad. Not bad. I like this gun, and I like this gun a lot. This is a really good gun. Even if this, even if this were to go totally dead, I could take this off and the hard sights are locked in at 100 yards with 100 yard zero, and they're dead on. The HK ring up front, anything inside of this for CQB is automatically getting a bullet. You're not putting the post on it, you're putting the ring on it. So that's why I like these sights. Oh, let me answer this. People ask me why I run RMRs. I run RMRs more than I run anything else. I have a dilemma with open optics. The dilemma is that one drop of rain will screw with the emitter, and I won't be able to see the dot clearly until I touch it with my finger, and then it just sort of finds its happy place and I can see it again. The reason that I will still choose this over a closed emitter is because a closed emitter optic is very susceptible to cold. And I can tell you this from experience. As a police officer, I was using my issued rifle. It had a, what was I using that day? I don't think it was the Mark 18. Yeah, I think I was back on a 16-inch barreled rifle because the Mark 18. No, I'm sorry. No, it was the Mark 18. I had a Select Fire Mark 18 that was issued to me, and it had a EOTech 552. Those were known as EOTechs. Now, today's EOTechs and yesterday's EOTechs technologically are roughly the same thing. It's two sheets of glass, argon in the middle. I think it's argon, and then the emitter at an angle with a reflector. And it's a holographic sight. And what you end up with that type of setup, you have the front sheet of glass and the back sheet of glass. If you cold soak a weapon in the back of a patrol vehicle, yeah, I better clarify what that means. Cold soaking or heat soaking a weapon is where that weapon is exposed to a constant temperature for a protracted period of time, and it completely sucks that temperature up into itself. Well, the optics on our rifles, because of where we were required to keep our rifles, which was in the back of the vehicle, the optic became cold soaked. And when I pulled the rifle out to use it that day, we had to make entry in a house. It was winter time, and me and one of the other officers made entry through the door. I went right, he went left, because he was a righty, I was a lefty, so it allowed us to hinge. So anyways, we made entry quickly, and as soon as we stepped past the threshold, our optics just fogged over. And it had nothing to do with the inside of the optic. It had everything to do with the front piece of glass and the back piece of glass, because the optic had become cold soaked. And I reached up and immediately swept with my fingers, and it cleared briefly, and then it immediately fogged back over again. So at that point, what I did was I took the rifle and I went from here and I turned it like this, and I basically used my thumb on the front of the gun, and I finished clearing the house doing that. That's all I had, guys. I like open emitter optics because they don't have a front or a back glass. They have one. And that one piece of glass, it's really hard for this optic to become cold soaked because it's only got one sheet of glass on it. And yeah, that window can get fogged over, but if you just hold this for the briefest period of time in your hand, you'll actually heat that optic up enough that that won't become an issue. But also now, I also wipe the front and back with a dilution of baby soap, a solution of baby soap. And it causes a bit of a haze on the glass, but I can get in and out of cold and hot without any problems. Really slick gun, really lightweight. It does everything and then some. Breaks down easily into a small bag. Disappears when you don't need it. You don't need it, and when you need it, it's right there. I'll tell you where this would become staged differently. If things were... Okay, let me put it this way. I think as Americans we have a pipe dream. Wow, this is going to be a long video. I think as Americans we have a pipe dream going. I hope, with all honesty guys, I don't know whether to hope if I'm right or whether to hope if I'm wrong about this. But I don't think, you know how there's that whole zombie apocalypse thing that everybody seems to have going in their head? I don't think that's going to happen, and here's why. The cabal, as it were, wow, this is really going to be a long video, needs this to stay up, right? They need this, because what is this? This is their pocket snitch. This thing hears everything you say, sees everything you see. It looks at everything you look at because there are cameras on both sides. And even if you cover the back-facing camera toward your face with a little dot of fingernail polish or, you know, tester's model paint, you still need that front camera for if there's a car wreck, if there's an emergency situation, you need that front camera. This is a $40 phone from Walmart, by the way. Okay, I'm tired of being taken hostage by the cell phone company. So this is a C100 Nokia, 40 bucks at Walmart, straight talk, 39 something a month is the total cost of the bill. Does everything I need it to do, and if it breaks, I don't care, because I have another one just like it sitting in the vehicle. All I do is pull the SIM card, slide it in, and everything transfers over to the new phone. I don't care. I might even put a bullet through it just for fun. So what I'm getting at is that whole zombie apocalypse, the power's out. Guys, I don't see that happening, because whatever the they is in your head, they need this. They need this. They need to see where you are, what you're doing, who you're talking to, where you're meeting, who you're meeting, and what you're up to 24/7. Which is why these phones are almost entirely battery. In fact, I'm going to do something that most of you haven't seen in years. Pow! I can actually take the phone, the battery out of my phone. Look at that. Look at how big that battery is, and look at the hole that it leaves. This phone now weighs almost nothing. The weight is right there. It's all battery now. That's specifically why I bought these phones, because they have removable batteries. This is why I say to people repeatedly, I don't think they're cutting the power out. I think that whole fear that's been sewn into us has been sewn into us for the same reason that the pandemic was sewn into us, to drive us to buy products, to keep enriching them, to keep us poor in our fear and in our ignorance and in our need to try to hang on to everything in the world around us. I don't think the power is going out. I think they're going to screw around with the power. I think they're going to screw around with the power, because how best to kill off certain sections of the country that are primarily conservative strongholds, right? Which is why I think they want to try to funnel people towards certain sections of the country so they can do certain things to them. But I think ultimately a power outage would be more beneficial to God than it would be to the devil. Because in that power outage, God's people can then start taking care of themselves and everybody else around them, and there's not much the devil can do to reach in to find out what's going on, because his little snitches. Because remember, the devil knows what's going on. He doesn't need power, but he needs his human snitches working for him to have power to be watching you. I told you guys a long time ago, this channel is not about guns. And this channel is not about, this channel is not even about me. This channel is about truth. It's about trying to give truth in the most unfettered, unfiltered way I can. I know that I'm not the only one who sees what's going on in the world, and I know that I'm not the only one who recognizes that our Christian institutions are turning their back on the Christian ethos. It's shameful to see what's happening in our nation, but anyways, I'm glad you guys came along today. You know, I need to just stop apologizing for when videos turn long, because this is me giving you guys who I am at my core. I love America. I can honestly say to you, I don't know that America's worth fighting for anymore. Excuse me. I don't see a country that gives a damn enough about itself to fight for itself. Because I talk to America! Because I talk to way too many people who are busy saying, hey, did you see the latest movie, blah, 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 blah. And I so badly want to go, first of all, you're asking me that in church. And secondly, why are you watching what is being served up to you on a platter? They want you going back to sleep and plugging back into the system. Get out and get to work. Guys, I need your prayers, and I need your financial support. I need your prayers and I need your financial support so that I can find a piece of land like this, so that I can start offering training for everybody. And I kid you not, the day that I find this, I'm trying to find this type of thing. The day that I find this, oh yeah, I'm offering classes and they're going to be free. That's a fact. I'd say take it to the bank, but you can't trust banks anymore. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.